Welcome back, everybody, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan, and today I've got a really big 2v3 battle for Blackfire Pass. I'm going to be playing as Averland, and my ally is going to be Richard, playing as the Dogs of War, and we are going to be up against three huge armies today. We've got Spyfly123 playing as the Orcs and Goblins, Gojira also playing as the Orcs and Goblins, and then perched atop this mountain, we have Consul of Micronesia playing as the Night Goblins. Let's go ahead and go over the army compositions, guys, and then we'll start the battle, or go full speed. But Consul of Micronesia has one unit of Night Goblin Shaman. He's also got a couple units of Night Goblin Spears. He's got one unit of Doomdiver Catapult, and then in the back, he's got some more of his Infantry Corps. He's got one unit of Night Goblin Netters, which act very similarly to Noblars. Over here, he's got some Squig Hoppers, a massive, excuse me, guys, whoa, a massive unit, or just massive mass of Night Goblin Archers and Night Goblins and Night Goblin Spears. I believe he's also got some Squig Archers in the mix in here as well, and that is going to make up most of his infantry. And in the front, he's got a unit of Stone Trolls, which are going to be a very effective kind of shock infantry for his army. Over here for Gojira's army, he's got a couple units of Orc Boar Biguns. He's also got a couple more units of just regular Orc Biguns, a few units of Orc Boys, I think about 4 units of these up in front. He's got 2 units of Black Orc Destroyers, 2 units of Ruglug Armored Orcs. In the back, he's got 2 units of Doomdiver Catapult, 1 unit of Immortals, which his general is going to be in right here, and these are very elite, very durable, kind of bodyguard unit. He's also got a Rock Lava, which have really surprisingly good range, and then over here he's got a unit of a Ragnarok Spider. Over here for Spyfly's army, he's got about 4 units of Orc Boar Boys. Over here, he's got 1 unit of Orc Boys. He's got some Trolls, another unit of a Ragnarok Spider. He's got a couple units of Orc Spear Boys. He's got some Black Orcs and Black Orc Destroyers in front. And then in the middle, he's got a huge contingent of Savage Orc Boys and Savage Orc Arrow Boys. So those are going to be the Orcish attacking armies, guys. Let's go ahead and go over my army and Richard's army. Richard has a couple units of Grudgebringer Cav, which he's already beginning to charge out. He's got a few units of Rico's Republican Guard as well, and then a Brazino's Galloper Gun. In the back, he's got a couple units of Burgunds' Besiegers, which are really good crossbow units. He's also got 2 units of Volan's Venators. It looks like in the back over here, he's got 4 units of Grudgebringer Infantry packed very tightly together in a very good formation there. He's got about 3 units of Grudgebringer Cannons, so he's bringing in a lot of artillery and a lot of infantry. For my army, I've got about 4 units of Great Swords, about 4 units of Averland Heavy Halberdiers, which are armor upgraded, so they are really encased in heavy plate. I've got 1 unit of Lumpenkrups Fighting Cocks, which is a Regiment Renown Halfling unit. I've got 1 unit of Hellblaster Volley Guns, a unit of Master Engineers with the Peter Handguns, a unit of Bright Wizards, and then a Steam Tank as well. In the back, I've got about 3 units of Knights of the Blazing Sun, 1 unit of Demigryph Knights with Halberds, and then way up here, I've got about 2 units of Outriders. So those are going to be the armies, guys. Let's go ahead and go full speed because this battle does start off very quickly. So Richard is already beginning to charge his Grudgebringer cavalry out. He is going straight for the Orcs, and I kind of like to believe that these guys pretty much existed or lived all in the land south of Blackfire Pass and had their homes ravaged by these Orcs, and so they have brought on the name of Grudgebringers so they can, you know, take revenge on the Orcs for destroying their homeland. But, you know, sometimes it's just fun to add a little flavor, you know, just for funsies, stuff like that. But it does look like he's charging his Grudgebringer Cav over here into these Black Orc Destroyers. He is not really going to trade favorably unless he gets some cycle charges. He did kill a bunch of these Black Orcs, though. I may have already spoke too soon. He's killed about 20 Black Orcs in a single charge. That's a lot of Black Orcs to lose. They don't have a shield, so they are going to be a little more vulnerable to Cav charges. Richard is leaving these guys involved in melee, though, but I think his micro may have been in kind of directing these cannons just to rip through Gojira's kind of Orc boys in front. Now he does not have it on explosive ammo, and actually when you take it off exploding ammo, your cannonballs can bounce, so you can actually kind of pierce through multiple units. It's actually very, very good to use if you're firing into somebody who's columned up. or maybe somebody who you know, has lines of units, kind of like right in here. This would be a really good to fire into. It does actually look like he's getting some shots, but you can kind of see the bounce. It bounces twice and then it'll dissipate. It only has so many bounces that it can do before the cannonballs actually disappear. But it does look like Richard has done a lot of damage over here. He's actually transferring it over to explosive ammo, so he's going to get some really nice shots into this massive blob of orcs. Over here, I am beginning to charge my cavalry down as well. My Knights of the Blazing Sun are moving in very quickly, along with my Demigryph Knights with halberds. I should be able to hit Gojira's flank pretty hard no matter what I hit, even if it's going to be these multiple HP big guns. The charge from the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the Demigryph Knights with halberds is going to be really potent. And here it comes, guys. You're going to see a lot of these 2 HP orc big guns get slayed in that charge. It really wasn't quite so impressive. They didn't go very deep into the formation, but he is kind of massing up over here. This would be a really good shot for some artillery, but he is reinforcing with his orc boar big guns, which are going to be 2 HP and are very formidable in a melee engagement. I don't want to engage for too long into melee, because that is not going to go too favorably for my Knights of the Blazing Sun, and I do not want to lose a lot of my cavalry this early in the game. This unit actually did get thinned out a little bit. This Knights of the Blazing Sun got away a little bit easier. I am charging up my Outriders. They are going to give me a little more freedom to kind of charge around, still be able to do some damage to these orcs without actually having to engage them in melee. I'm going to charge my Knights of the Blazing Sun in the back. I'm going to try and get some good hits off on these Doomdiver catapults, because pretty much my Master Engineers and my Bright Wizards and all my really valuable kind of specialty units are going to be in range of their artillery, and I want to avoid getting hit as much as I really can. You can see the Rock Lava doing a ton of damage to our lines, doing a lot of damage to these Grudgebringer infantry and to my Averland heavy halberdiers. I don't want to kind of bunch up too much. This line formation is going to keep me from losing too many units in his shots, but again, I do not want to leave my guys vulnerable to his artillery, so I'm going to try and do what I can with some of my cavalry and charge around. I'm going to get a kind of a decent frontal charge with my Knights of the Blazing Sun over here, and they're going to kind of move in and do a little bit of damage to these orc boys. It's really not too big of a target. These orc boys are not going to be extraordinarily pivotal late game, but it does look like Spyfly over here is beginning to charge up his orcs, or at least move them up, and Richard is going to get some really nice shots in with his cannons. You can see that Galloper gun doing a lot of damage here. He is going to really kind of focus in on Spyfly's main line. I think he's kind of moving his focus away from Gojira a little bit. It's actually a really good screenshot right here. But here we go, guys. We're going to see these savage orcs and just these black orcs all kind of descend on Richard's formations. It does look like the trolls are going to be moving up here. They're going to actually be pushing these cavalry back. Really good illustration of how their high mass kind of makes them a little bit more formidable. Now, I don't know necessarily if that's just because they were able to catch the charge as it was coming, and the charge had a little bit damaged or a little bit interrupted by these serpentine or these Galloper guns, I guess. But sometimes charges from cav are a little wonky, especially with high HP units, but usually against heavy infantry, it would have just usually you would see at least a few of those trolls get thrown up in the air, even if it wouldn't have killed them. These Vol Inventors are going to be charging away, though, from these Black Orc destroyers, and it looks like Spyfly is going to actually be able to kind of infiltrate Richard's lines a little bit. His Rico's Republican Guards are going to drop their pikes, which is really not good at all. Ooh, that was a cool kill animation there. You saw that guy kind of sweep down, catch an orc in the face with his sword. Richard is going to be reinforcing with his Grudgebringer infantry, and if he can focus enough units densely enough against these trolls, he should be able to stunlock these trolls and kill them pretty effectively. He is moving his Grudgebringer cannon back a little bit. I am going to re-avert my Hellblaster volley gun over into some of Richard's lines and try and reinforce and fire into this big blob that Spyfly is kind of creating here. You really want to avoid blobbing up. I'm going to get a really nice shot with my steam tank as well, and you guys can kind of see in the background my Bright Wizards are going to be firing. Lots going on here, guys. Let's slow this down just a little bit. Looks like the Arachne-Rock Spiders are going to be charging into Richard's line. Lots of targets here for those Arachnarocks to kind of chew through. The Rico's Republican Guard obviously looks like they're going to be the main target, and they're just going to charge through that pike line. The Grudgebringer infantry is going to be really vulnerable to those kind of larger AoE attacks. I still have Spyfly kind of targeted with my Hellblaster volley gun, hopefully going to help alleviate some of that really hard pressure that he is kind of putting on Richard, and I am firing in with my Bright Wizards into kind of just this mass of orcs and cavalry. I am going to roast a lot of my own Demigryph Knights with halberds, though. This is never good. You really have to be careful with Bright Wizards because they will fire indiscriminately in your line. They are getting targeted by the Doomdiver catapults, which again, guys, I really want to reiterate, they can shoot pretty much wherever your really special units are. Doomdivers have extremely high range, but you can see here I've lost a lot of my Master Engineers to those Doomdivers, so you really never want to underestimate them. Looks like maybe I got another shot off with my steam tank over here, although that may have just been a little bit of a residual fire. Oh, no, that was definitely the steam tank. I was going to say residual fire from the Bright Wizards, but that definitely was a steam tank shot. So it looks like Spyfly is really putting a lot of pressure over here on Richard still. The Grudgebringer infantry in their shield wall formation should hold pretty effectively, so long as he is able to hold this formation. There is some gaps opening up. I'm going to get an amazing shot, however, with my steam tank. Some of that exploding ammunition is kind of how you differentiate a little bit from the steam tank and the Hellblaster volley gun ammo. Hellblaster volley gun does not explode. Does look like I'm going to get a really nice charge, however, with my Demigryph Knights with halberds into the back of these Black Orc Destroyers. They are shaken, and that is kind of what you want to see. You really want to rout some of these Orcish units when you have any opportunity to, because if you can incur a chain rout or kill the Orcish general, you can do typically a lot of damage. I do have my Master Engineers, the Pewter handguns, kind of out in the open. This is really risky for them. They are going to be firing, I think, into kind of this mass of Orc boys and these Arachnarok spiders. Hopefully, I can get some kills on these Arachnarok spiders. Typically, whenever you see big units like these, Arachnarok spiders, or even steam tanks, anything with high HP and high defense, gunpowder units are typically going to be really effective at shooting through them. Gunpowder units completely ignore defense skill, they half armor, and completely ignore shield value, so you can get a lot of damage done to formidable units with gunpowder. I'm going to be charging up some of my Demigryph Knights with halberds over here. I don't think I'm going to get too many kills, however, against these Roguelike. Actually, I'm not going to get any kills with that charge. They're going to kind of charge in the backs of those Outriders, which, again, I really don't want to be targeting those Outriders as kind of, or having them engaged in melee. I'm going to get a good shot, however, with my Hellblaster volley gun. You can kind of see a lot of these Roguelike Armored Orcs getting kind of just bloodied up. Lots of smoke coming up from those shots. It looks like Consul of Micronesia is getting into range. I do have my Bright Wizards over here trying to get some good shots. Going to get a really nice shot, however, over here with their alternative fire, which is going to be kind of a fireball. It's definitely better for focus shots rather than kind of a larger AoE shot. That's what I really like about Bright Wizards. You have kind of a dual usability with them. If you really need to get kind of shots angled in, you can really see a nice blood splatter effect that is going to be added in 1.5. I really enjoyed the little touches that they add into this mod. A little bit goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way. Stuff like blood splatter or just a few kind of unique kill animations really adds to the flavor of the mod. But, I digress. I am going to get another nice shot off with my steam tank into these Night Goblin archers. They are firing away into my line. I need to be careful. I didn't bring a lot of shielded units, so even though those Night Goblin archers have relatively low damage, I'm not going to have a shield block chance to actually mitigate the damage from those arrows coming in, so I'm going to be pretty vulnerable, or my infantry corps is going to be pretty vulnerable in that regard. Looks like we got some Immortals over here fighting against these heavy halberdiers. Typically, you want to stun lock units that you usually would not have the firepower to kill. That is really the only counter, in my opinion, that you can really employ. And a lot of time, the person who has those high HP units can choose to engage them either with his main force or separately. And you always want to engage high HP, low unit count units in with kind of the majority of your army. So it looks like we got one dead Arachnarok Spider over here. I think I'm still trying to fire in with my steam tank, getting some nice shots again with the Hellblaster volley gun. I am going to change targets, and looks like I'm going to get... looks like things are just lining up for a great shot with the steam tank. I'm going to get a massive shot in there, kill a ton of Night Goblin archers and Night Goblins. A lot of those units are going to be wavering. Going to get some more nice shots with my Hellblaster volley gun over here into these Ruglug Armored Orcs. Another good shot over here with the Hellblaster volley gun. killing a ton. Actually, that may have been the steam tank. It's kind of hard to tell at this point. I didn't see if there was an explosion or not, but Consul Micronesia has moved up a lot of his Night Goblin archers, and he is firing indiscriminately away into my line, and he can really afford to do that when he has so many archers. There's really not a lot engaged over here. It's really just some Orc Biggins and some Immortals kind of holding this mass together. This would actually be a really good target for this Rock Lava if it still has ammo left. My steam tank is going to choose another target, and it looks like he might be firing into, I'm not quite sure where. Just the Night Goblins, it looks like over here. The Hellblaster Volley Gun's going to fire into and do a lot of damage here. Looks like it's going to rout some of those units. These Squig Hoppers are going to be charging in as well. They're actually not that much faster than the conventional Goblins. They're pulling ahead just a little bit, but not by a lot. But each of these Hellblaster volley shots and this steam tank shot is going to do a considerable amount of damage to Consul Micronesia's Goblin infantry. But look at all these arrow shots coming in, guys. All of these are going to just be picking off a few of my greatswords and a few of my heavy halberdiers here and there. It's not going to be a significant amount each volley, but they just have the numbers for what they lack in just pure firepower. A good shot coming in there from those rock lavas, doing a lot of damage to my greatswords. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Richard's doing over here. Actually looks like a lot of Richard's forces have kind of melted away after those Recover's Republican Guard had kind of lost their pikes. That was really bad for Richard, and I don't think the Grudgebringer infantry really had the stats to hold up against some of these 2 HP Orcish units, and a lot of his units are going to be routing as he's going to be kind of getting pushed away. But he was really smart about his cannons. He didn't keep them engaged in his main line. He did move them back, and it looks like now he is going to try and fire into Spyfly's mass. Spyfly has kind of branched out a little bit. You really don't want your units kind of all bunched up together, especially if there are artillery cannons still left on the field. Looks like the Ragnarok Spider is going to be the target of his cannons, and I am trying to assist him with what I still have in my Hellblaster Volley Gun. I think I am beginning to run low on ammo, and Spyfly being branched out like this is going to be harder to get a lot of kills with my artillery units. I do still have my Master Engineers, the Peter handguns, only 5 left, but these 5 might be able to do a bit of damage against some higher HP targets. Lots of these Squigs still moving in, these Squig Archers and Night Goblin Archers still firing into my line. And again, guys, I just do not have the shielded units to deal with this these ranged units. I really don't even have Cav at this point, and not having Cav this late in the game can be a serious problem. I do, however, have my Regiment Round Halfling units. They are going to be firing into some of, I believe, Gojira's units. His armored orcs, or his red lug armored orcs, are going to be taking quite a bit of damage from those halfling archers. They don't have a shield block chance either, so they're going to take a little bit of damage. I'm going to get another nice shot in with my steam tank, pretty much decimate this unit of Night Goblins. They weren't really doing much back here, though. I really need to start targeting these ranged units. That is where I am lacking, and where Gojira and Micronesia really have a significant advantage over me right now. Squig Archers are kind of sitting in the back, kind of just picking off units where they can, and my infantry corps is very quickly melting away. My Averland heavy halberdiers are exhausted and wavering, only 18 left there. Greatswords very few in number as well, and I've really lost a lot of my forces. My steam tank pretty much is going to be my muscle. I don't have a lot of options left, and the steam tank, once it engages in melee, kind of becomes a bit unreliable. It's really difficult to pull it out of melee, and that is actually my advice. If you guys are going up against an army that is fielding a steam tank, get it engaged in melee as quickly as you can, especially against kind of armor-piercing units, and maybe have some outriders on the rim. I guess that's only playing if you're playing an Empire faction, but any gunpowder unit, just have it firing into the steam tank, or any armor-piercing unit. Engage it against a steam tank. That is going to be your best bet at shutting it down. In melee, it's still very, very good against kind of larger masses. I would honestly recommend trolls, or kind of a lower unit mass unit, or a lower unit count unit that's got a high mass. And that's probably going to be your best bet against stopping one of these monsters. But I am going to start firing in against some of Spyfly's units. He doesn't have a whole bunch left. I am going to rout some of his orc boys with my Hell Cannon shot. But he is kind of really finished Richard. Richard's got a few units of Braganza's besiegers that are fighting against these stone trolls, but at this angle, it doesn't look like a lot of the stone trolls or the besiegers are swinging away. It looks like only a few of them are, and that might just be because of the difference in elevation. But Spyfly is moving into my back lines. He is starting to fire in. It looks like Richard has some Volans Venators, and they are actually going to get picked off by a few of those archers. My Lupin Crips Fighting Cocks are moving up, but I've really got nothing at this point. My steam tank is going to get engaged in melee, and this is really bad. He is going to be able to do a bit of damage against these Orc Spear Boys, but it is not going to be really that amazing. This Ragnarok Spider is going to be a pretty big threat. I think it has armor piercing. I'm not 100% sure about that. I do know that these goblins at the top usually fire away into other units, but they have a pretty low amount of damage that they incur. My steam tank is going to be running over some of these Orc Spear Boys and doing a bit of damage to them, but these trolls, Spyfly's trolls, are going to be moving in, and this is bad. These trolls have a lot of HP. Their stats rival the steam tank in a lot of regards. They obviously don't have the ranged mechanic, but they do have armor piercing, and they are a bit more reliable in melee combat. I did get almost a point-blank shot, however, into this Ragnarok Spider just a second ago. And like I said, guys, sometimes the steam tank's real wonky. Once it gets into melee, it really just does whatever it wants to do. It's kind of a crapshoot as to whether or not it's going to be able to pull out of that engagement and start using its cannon again, which is arguably its most dangerous weapon. Engaged against just masses of like night goblins, it would probably do really well. It probably wouldn't be able to get killed in that scenario, or it might be able to, but it would be very hard pressed for the Night Goblins to actually be able to do damage like that. But these trolls swinging into the back is going to be really bad for me. This is just not where I want my steam tank at all, and this could honestly spell the end for it. Just from the fact that I'm not able to get utilization out of its cannon. I am moving it up a little bit into these Savage Orc Arrow Boys, but that is really going to be ineffective in terms of what I'm trying to do with it. So, but it's going to be moving around. Now these trolls are going to start swinging at it, and with each swing, that is a bit of damage. That's a bit of HP that might get knocked off, and they having armor piercing just really is going to do a lot of damage to it. I don't think the steam tank has a lot in terms of defense skill. I may have none. I'm not 100% sure about that. Doomdiver catapults are still going to be firing away, and actually one of the really nice things about Doomdivers is as they kind of get less and less in a unit, they actually will slowly kind of kill off, or the Night Goblins will, or I'm sorry guys, the Doomdiver Goblins will slowly kind of thin out and die off, kind of simulating them running out of goblins to throw, and that's an amazing feature in my opinion. In itself, and that's just a small attention to detail that goes a long way. I was really commenting earlier about how the small things make up the mod, and it really does. I mean, that's real kind of tiny attention to detail that makes this game a lot more fun. My Conqueror Steam Tank is still going to be kind of whomping around. This is bad, though. Look at these trolls are beginning to get really aggressive with their swings, starting to swing a lot more often. My steam tank is going to kind of bounce into the ground a little bit, and that is going to kind of signal the death animation, and my steam tank is going to go down. And that mighty titan has been felled by a couple trolls and some Ragnarok spiders, and that's going to be seriously bad for us. That is really kind of going to be game at this point. It is 94% to 85%. We've got just a tiny amount of units left. My Lumpen Groups Fighting Cocks are going to be taking some shots from those rock lavas, and they are going to be shaken. Looks like Consul Micronesia is going to be trying to fire away with his Night Goblin Shamans. If he gets any shots into our units, it's pretty much game at this point. I mean, it's pretty much game anyway. I've got a few units of these kind of regiment-renowned missile units. I have just a handful of infantry, like honestly not enough to do anything at this point. There are a few artillery units left on Gojira's team or on his army. His rock lavas are honestly pretty scary at this point. But but there's not a lot left on the field. I think Spyfly might have the most numerous army left. He's got a lot of Savage Orc Error Boys left alive. Let's zoom in here just a little bit and see if we can see what else is on the field. Yeah, 2 units of Savage Orc Error Boys, a Ragnarok Spider, some Trolls. Oh, that Troll's actually going to get felled by one of my my Lumpenkrups units. They're going to be firing in at this Ragnarok Spider, but they are going to rout as soon as that Spider gets in there. They obviously are not as brave as Frodo, but they are going to rout and just be pushed off the battlefield. These Trolls are going to be fighting against my Heavy Halberdiers. They are wavering, and I wouldn't be surprised if they routed at any moment. And there they go. Yeah, they're going to start routing, and that is going to be pretty much it for my army, guys. I don't think I have anything left to really combat what's on the field. Over here, I think Richard has 1 unit left of Brazanga's besiegers. They are wavering and exhausted, but these Trolls are going to be kind of swinging in on them. But like I said, guys, I really think there's some kind of weird elevation thing going over here, because only like 1 or 2 of these Trolls are swinging. And same thing for the Brazanga's besiegers. Not a lot of them are swinging away into this unit either. So we'll just go ahead and go full, or 6 times speed on this as these guys kind of sort out their differences. See, this guy is just really asking to get walloped by this Troll. But I think Spyfly is gonna, actually, these are Consul of Micronesia's units. So Consul of Micronesia is gonna kind of notice. He's gonna move them a little bit, and it looks like those Trolls are going to start wailing on those Brazanga's besiegers, and that is going to be it for them, guys. They are going to rout, and that is going to be all we have left, and that is going to end the game. So we take a look at the kills, guys. I got 2,934 kills, a lot of kills there. I did have Consul of Micronesia send up most of his army, so he had about 2,600 Night Goblins that he sent over. So I killed most of his army, but Gojira and Spyfly also brought a lot of units as well. But let's take a look at the kills. 193 for the Demigryph Knights with Halberds is a lot. 1,283 kills with the Steam Tank is a ton of kills. Now, a lot of these guys were Goblins, but that's what you want to see when you bring a 10,000 gold unit. You really want to see it pulling its weight, making a noticeable difference on the battlefield, and that's what my Steam Tank did this game. About 115 kills with the Bright Wizards. That's not that many. Most of those were Goblins as well. My Hellblaster Volley Gun got about 322 kills. That's very good. A lot of those were Spyfly's units. I think when I was trying to help out when Richard got engaged against Spyfly. Greatsword's getting 119 is pretty good. Knights of the Blazing Sun getting 140 is pretty good as well. And my Lumpenkrups Fighting Cocks getting 151 is actually really good for this kind of lower tier halfling unit. So that is going to be the game, guys. I really hope y'all liked it. If you guys have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. If y'all enjoyed this battle, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you guys ever want to just come and hang out with the group and maybe play some games, you guys are always welcome to just hop into the Warhammer Week Discord. It is in the comment section below, or in the description below, excuse me, guys. And yeah, just hop in and say, hey, I want to play a game, and there will definitely probably be somebody there looking to play. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Like I said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this battle. I had a blast playing it, and I will see you guys next time.